Welcome back to Weekly Briefing. The Wisconsin Senate has announced that they're going to do an election investigation after the Legislative Audit Bureau found several laws broken and enough problems to change the outcome of the 2020 election. We're now seeing state lawmakers who were previously unwilling to get involved are getting involved. Chris, is the demand for election transparency growing? It
is, and you're going to see it increase not only in Wisconsin, but you're going to see it increase in additional states, because what we see are these irregularities that increasingly show that the margin of difference, or the fault, the problem, the miscount, actually exceeds the margin of victory, which means that the result of the election not necessarily had to be, but easily could be reversed. And so folks have a lot of questions about elections. It's not getting any better. And until there's real transparency and accountability, until voting rolls are scrubbed, expect more pressure for these types of audits.
Right, and it's taken a year, but we're finally starting to see some Republicans go, okay, fine, I'll talk about it and do it. Donna, what do you think the hesitancy is for Republicans to actually address this issue?
I think the hesitancy with Republicans were they're afraid of the backlash. But listen, we're playing a different game. Right. I think transparency is always good. I was an auditor. I audited companies every year. It's not saying that you disagree with the financial statements, but people feel assured that what they're seeing is real when they see an audit take place. So I'm always for an audit.
All right. Nancy Pelosi was on CNN for an interview with Jake Tapper this week, and towards the end of the segment, Tapper asked her if she would be running for re-election. Here's what she had to say.
I do want to ask about your own future in Congress. Are you going to run for re-election?
Oh, you think I'm going to make an announcement right here and now?
Yeah. Why not?
I'll have to be on many more times than that.
You're going to run for re-election, though, yes?
Why would I tell you that now?
Well, it's not just me. It's the American people. It's the world. This is an international show.
Well, probably I would have that conversation with my family first, if you don't mind.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Jim, I'm curious, one, about your reaction to her response, but I also think the question is really interesting. What do you think of this?
Well, given her age, you know, it's a valid question. When you look back to Tip O'Neill, the great Boston Paul, who was Speaker of the House, when he left, his great gift to Boston, his legacy, was the Big Dig, which was, you know, this hugely expensive cost overrun bill, that, you know, a bunch of infrastructure projects. I think Nancy Pelosi sees her legacy as this progressive, multi-trillion-dollar thing that they're trying to get passed. I also don't think she wants to be minority leader, which she would be after the next election if, you know, things go as planned. So, no, I think she's going to retire.
Terry, what do you think?
I think that Nancy Pelosi is frustrated with her caucus. It's a really weird world that we're in now, because Nancy Pelosi is the moderate in the Democratic Party. She's being held up by this woke progressive squad led by AOC and Ilhan Omar, and they're holding up these bills and keeping her from being able to get the bills passed. So I think she's frustrated with that, and we're seeing other members of Congress start to retire too, as well. Sherry Bustos. These people want to, they're the moderates now, and they don't fit in. They don't have any allies right now in their caucus. So I think they're retiring for other reasons. It's more political than anything.
That's fascinating. I think you're right, but it's fascinating to think of Nancy Pelosi as the moderate.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
That's where we are.
Wow, that's terrifying. Okay. The U.S. Department of State recently issued the first ever passport with a Gender X designation. The State Department did not say to whom the passport was issued, but a spokesperson called the move historic and celebratory. Is this really what the State Department should be focused on, Donna?
No. Listen, this State Department's core mission is to make sure safe passage from different countries. If they weren't so focused on this gender issue, maybe they could have did a better job in Afghanistan. We still have people stranded over there. But instead, they care about what pronoun people have. And that's far from what we should be focused on.
Right. Chris, do you think this actually makes the U.S. passport harder to use? If you have enough of the information that's confusing and subjective, it will be harder as a border agent to take a look at it and actually believe that the person on the passport is the person that you're looking at.
This is craziness. Go to the science. What does the chromosome say about the individual? That's the answer.
Yeah.
They can have all sorts of feelings and ideas and wishes. That's lovely. The science, by their chromosome check or test double X or XY, that defines what they are, regardless of how they
Right.
feel about it.
It's bizarre. If I identify as a 6'5" black male who, makes a certain amount of money and, has a certain physique, and I say that, and that's what the State Department actually gives me as a passport, how does anybody check my passport?
Correct. It erodes and just shreds any kind of reliability in the sort of documentation that's needed, not just for identity, but for international travel, for conducting business, for any number of things. And now we have a government-sponsored fake ID is what it really ends up being.
That's a really interesting way to put it, but I think you're right. All right, it is time for the lightning round. Here we have 3 minutes and give the panelists each 10 seconds to answer and get through as many questions as possible. We'll start with Terry. Many are outraged over comedian Dave Chappelle's stand-up special. He was canceled. Do you think comedy is dead in America?
No, comedy is being revived. We are seeing an explosion of growth and support for people like Dave Chappelle and others that get canceled. We're also seeing it with guys like Shane Gillis. So I think all this cancellation is actually helping.
All right.
Yes, I agree. And Chappelle is great to fight back.
Great.
More fighting. I like fighting.
Comedy is on the right.
Yes, they're making Republicans funny, which I never thought was possible. Okay, will the Biden administration successfully force vaccine mandates on children?
That is an open question. I don't think that's a can of worms they want to open, though. You think parents are upset about critical race theory and transgenderism in school and mask mandates? Just wait till you do vaccine mandates.
No.
Okay.
It would be child abuse.
They're abusing our children right now, but no.
They are, and it's interesting because Gavin Newsom didn't even vaccinate his own children, but he's enforcing this mandate. Okay. Do Americans believe the elections this week will be secure? You've been involved in this, Terry?
I think they have questions about that. I think they're very concerned, but I'll tell you what, they got 2020 and all the election irregularities there. So if they screw around here, I think you're going to have mass protests across the country, especially ahead of the midterms.
Wait for the 3 a.m. ballots, and then we'll see.
We'll see. Terry, are people protecting Virginia's election for the 3 a.m. ballot drops?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. The campaigns are going on offense here. They've got legal teams set up. I think they've got it in control.
Okay. Sorry, Chris.
We'll see. I don't have an answer.
I hope there's no secret suitcases under the table.
Yeah, we will see. Okay. What's Kamala Harris' big project what is she currently working on?
She is working on undercutting the President of the United States so that she can resume office once he's out.
Yeah, she's working on her inauguration plan.
Right.
Determining manicure color.
Sure.
A facelift.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Which political party is more fractured at the moment, Republicans or Democrats?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think that Republicans are still fighting things out with the libertarians who want to hold us back, and I think Democrats have their infighting with the woke crowd.
All right.
I think liberals are figuring out in the Democratic Party that they are now the minority and they have lost control.
Sadly, Republicans, they almost can never get their act together.
Oh, I think that Republicans are more united. We have causes. Education is a winner.
All right. Very good. Don't go anywhere. When we come back from the break, we cover the panel's choice and see which topics they thought were important. We'll be right back.